Hi everyone, and welcome to another art meme review video where we talk about what it's like to be an artist. For those of you that want to become artists or are artists, beginners, or you have artists in your life and you want to get a better understanding of what their struggles are or what's fun about their lives, we're gonna go in through memes and kind of try and explain that. So grab a hot cocoa tea or something, settle in, and let's get to it. So, first one off, and there's a lot of debate around this one. So, offer people free artwork. Ask people ask for free artwork. Crippling depression hits, giving me no motivation. Crippling depression hits, and I have no motivation. So this is a very popular meme with Gru, where he does something stupid, then realizes he does something stupid, and it's sad for him. uh, yeah. So I know a lot of beginner artists or wannabe artists do this kind of stuff. I don't know why. I've always treated making art as a job, as a product. So I am making a product for you. I expect to be paid the same way. I don't know, horseshoe maker or a phone seller or something like that. Um, Mostly I do art for the advertising industry, so it's a lot more clear to me that I am selling a product. You need packaging for your products. I designed the art for it, or you need to inform people that this is your shop and you sell, let's say, donuts. So I make a logo for your shop, I make posters, I make the menus. Um, so I'm making something of tangible value because in the end it will be printed on something and displayed, and it's um, a utility object, like an informational sign. Like you have the maps in um, metro stations, somebody drew that and you are using it. It is an object of use for you. So for me, it's a lot more clear that I'm doing a product and it's not for free. But um, paintings for decorating your home, those fall more into the luxury category. So I can see why people would get confused about that, and give it for free. And then you are surprised that people are asking for more free stuff. Of course, they're going to. I think the saddest part is when you want to give your art away for free and nobody wants it. Like, I think that's the most soul crushing part. So maybe some people are happy if somebody wants their art. But then there's like the crippling depression that hits some people. I don't have that regards to my work. I'm like, you want to buy my services? Okay. You don't want to buy my services? Take care. That's more business view for me on my end. And I would recommend a lot of people try artists try and be more in that mindset of setting boundaries, professional boundaries between themselves and others. Um, Next one. Please wait for validation, and then you get, oh, you're doing the best that you can. This definitely applies to, I think, everybody, especially in these trying times. It's been sucky 2 years. It wasn't great before, but it's extra sucky now. Um, I would say that, yeah, a lot of artists are insecure about it, so it helps them out to hear this stuff. There's a lot of, stereotypal stigma regarding artists, and oh, it's not a real job, and you're gonna starve to death. And guess what? You can be an accountant, and the market can be flooded with other accountants whose parents thought the same thing as your parents, and also advances in technology and AI and computing, and there's like a lot of tedious accounting stuff has been taken up by computers. So it's like, yeah, you can be in the same boat as artists these days. When you want new art supplies, but this is all the money you have saved. Yeah, personally, uh, I this is one of the main reasons I've switched to digital art. It's a lot cheaper in many ways, a lot easier, much more commercially um, advantageous, and I do like traditional art as well. I've made videos discussing, cheap products versus expensive products. I've discussed traditional versus digital. You can check out those videos for more in-depth conversations on the topic. I treat traditional art as a hobby. I love watercolor. I like being fancy and doing acrylic paintings on larger scales and putting them up in my house. I like that canvas look. And the problem is indeed they are very expensive. Like if you want the full range and have a lot of room and ability to draw in very specific, detailed, color-rich ways. You kind of need the more expensive high-end stuff. Like, imagine going to a car race and you're having like this really cheap, crappy car, and you want to drive like you're in the fanciest, most fast and reliable and solid car. You will not get that much enjoyment out of your car ride if you're in a very bad car. Like suspensions alone will affect your ride, your driving experience a lot if you can feel every bump in your spine. And the same thing is with paints. You're trying to blend the colors in a certain way, get the details just right, and you're never going to get that if the colors don't mix well and they separate or they pool or whatever else happens, or you don't have the right brush and it's not getting enough paint the way you want, and then it splotches, or there can be many details like that. If you've tried different painting supplies, you'll notice the difference in quality between different brands. Usually the more expensive ones can be good, and cheaper ones bad, but you can always find some special ones that aren't in every country, so it can get really complicated, and you can watch endless hours of YouTube videos reviewing the product. And yeah, so I definitely feel with this meme, not as much as some other people, because again, I said I'm specialized in digital because I think it has way more advantages and it suits my personality and lifestyle more than traditional paintings. Uh, Disney, yeah, they're such beautiful pieces of art. I really do think that animation is moving art as far as I'm concerned. So when people don't know scenes from Disney films, I'm like, what do they teach you in school? We learn about Van Gogh and other things like that, and Picasso and blah blah blah. And I think Picasso died fairly recently, somewhat. I mean, he's still taught in schools, but he's like recent enough. It was, I think, after the Second World War, and Disney's been making cartoons since 1940. So, I mean, I think we should learn about cartoons in art class, my opinion. And this meme says, when friends stop quoting Disney all the time, we don't get it because you're plebs. And I'm like, dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow. Now, for me, this is an extra funny joke because dishonor on you and dishonor on your cow is kind of like a play on some Indian expressions, but Mushu is supposedly Chinese and is played by a actor of color, Freddie Murphy. Murphy. I was gonna say Mercury. That's a singer Indian. And It's such a jumbled cultural mixing pot that is very characteristic of the US culture, and I just love every bit of it. And I love this like misunderstanding expression because often when you translate from one language to another, it's you get like these mishaps. And I'll give you a little example that I really enjoy. So, for example, in my culture, Romania, you have this expression, "May the goat of my neighbor also die." Să moară și capra vecinului. And basically, what it means, if I'm having a bad time and I'm miserable and unhappy, I want my neighbor to be in the same boat as me. So basically, you're jealous of your neighbors doing better or well off, or they didn't get affected by the same issues as you. And this expression is often used to characterize someone that is petty and jealous and greedy and things like that. And we say that that person has the mentality of, "May the neighbor of my goat die" as well. Now in India, you have something similar, but there are some cultural differences. So in India, the expression is, "I lose a goat, but you lose a cow." And the idea is, I lose something important and valuable to me, but you lose even more. And I'm not sure exactly of the context in which it is used. I'm not that familiar with Indian cultures. But it seems to me like if somebody is willing to suffer if you suffer more, kind of the idea, from my understanding of this expression. So, um, yeah, some insight into various cultures and goat symbolism. Next meme. So, how did you get into classical music and me, an intellectual? Yes, I am a 90s kid and I grew up with Cartoon Network, and on Cartoon Network we had Tom and Jerry and Looney Tunes and other things like that. And I listened to so much classical music because of it, and the songs that were chosen, they were so fitting. And it was looking back on it now as an adult, I'm like, oh my god, the juxtaposition of the fancy pants classical opera music with silly cartoons, um, I think was the stroke of genius of whoever commercialized this. I think there was the one of Beethoven's sonnets on the Nokia phone as a ringtone, and I've there were memes going around with kids thinking, why are they playing Nokia phone music in the opera? Because they didn't know where it came from first. So this meme, personally, I feel like on no account has yours truly ever endured a more personal assault in thine existence. Basically, I feel personally attacked by this meme. And I wish there was more of this going on right now. Um, because I think it was awesome. I know it would be just copying it, but there are a lot of classical traditional folk music from other cultures that could be used to kind of expose kids from an early age to fancy pants music from other cultures, like, for example, Chinese opera, Japanese kabuki theater. Like, they have some very expressive music, and I think they could have done something similar in the Looney Tunes veins to kind of choose the parts that are fun and make something out of it. Of course, it takes a lot of creativity for it, but I'm sure the people exist in the world that can do this. It's just that animation is generally very expensive to make, so unless there's like a sure profit in it, it's not gonna get funded. But who knows? We'll see. I would love to get like a um, Asian version of Looney Tunes or some African version of Looney Tunes. So who knows? Maybe someday. I would love to watch that. Next meme: two things all artists have: art supplies and pain. It's supposed to be paint, but there's like a promotional ad over it. Yeah, I would say it's true. Especially if you're doing like stuff with your hands that is more manually intensive. Like I used some super glue for an art project too. I think it's getting on 2 years now. I burned the fingerprint, the skin off one of my fingers because of the super glue. I didn't realize how evil that super glue was. And I haven't had any prints on my finger since, and it's gets cracked and dry, and it's painful. Uh, and fortunately, I have not had to use this finger for any print identification because I don't know what I would do because I'm missing one fingerprint at the moment and it's not growing back. So, yeah, be careful with art prints. If you're working with wood as well, careful for your fingers. If you're doing any sewing or needling, take care of your fingers. And yeah, pain, yes. Both psychological, because we're having an existential crisis every time we have to pay our bills, and we are like, why did we choose this path in life? Why didn't become a lawyer or something else? Who knows what you guys might be thinking. I never regretted going through this path, but every time I have to pay my bills, like a little voice in my head says, like, you could have been a politician and talk your mouth out and get money for that and just ramble. Could have gone into law or something, you know? But it doesn't last long for me because I really do enjoy my job. Next meme, recognizing that the algorithm is highly flawed and is not at all reliable indicator of skill or worth as an artist, and the character is like, no, I refuse to believe that, and instead concludes, your art is trash due to low engagement or follow count. Yeah, I mean, artists do have a tenuous grasp on self worth. I know plenty of artists that are way better than me and have less followers and subs and things like that. But the thing is, it's not just a skill for the art, it's very subjective as well. Like, for example, there are a lot of cartoon styles these days that I see on Cartoon Network, and I'm like, it's so ugly. And it's doing great. And then there are other cartoons that I think are just exceptionally good, and they're not getting the recognition I feel they are due. And it is a mixed bag. What I like is not gonna be what you like. For example, I keep dunking on Picasso because first of all he's dead, and I feel comfortable gossiping about him because I'm not gonna hurt his feelings. Um, and yeah, I really don't like Picasso's art. I think it's really crappy. But a lot of people love it. I've seen his art in many people's homes, and I'm like, why, why it's so ugly? um, and it's just, it's hard to put a tag on it. It just depends, what is trendy at the time. Also, like how good the artist is at managing their image and their products. Like, for example, this art here that I see on the left is not to my taste. Like, I don't know what's happening with that right hand in the upper image. For the longest time, I thought it was her hair, but she actually has a beanie on her head and it's covering her hair. Um, the hair is the same color as the vest they have on, so it's like another issue for me. And the shading, so it's. I mean, it's hard for me to do what she seems to be implying here, like have an objective, measurable scale of evaluating somebody. What I would say is if you want more engagement and more followers, you have to do a lot of things and manage your image as a business, like as a brand. And the more you do that, and the more you do it in the way that leads you to the success you want, the more you're gonna have what you wanted. So, like, more fans. Like, I don't even do, I've had 5 years of marketing under my belt. I have a bachelor's and a master's in it, so I kind of know what I should be doing, but a lot of the things I don't agree with them, so I don't do them, so I don't have as much success. But I'm having more success than other artists that haven't considered the business aspect, so there's that. This other meme. I'm really proud of this illustration. They posted it, and an hour later, they only get 2 likes, and it's probably from his mother and his grandmother or his aunt, like people that love him. And um, if, what this meme I think tries to show is that uh, what you are proud of is not what other people appreciate. Again, is that subjective thing. For example, I'm looking at that illustration. He might be proud of how he drew the scales on the mermaid, but it's a very awkward position and it's kind of an ugly illustration. So, like, I don't know if I would like it. If I saw it in my feed, I probably would not give a like. Unless I know the person is a nice person and I like that person, then I'm gonna just give it as a support. Like, apparently his mom and grandmother, or who knows who gave him those 2 hearts, just trying to be nice to them and encourage an artist. Um, what I really liked about the two platform was that um, people would get a few cents, not just from posting and getting money for their work as artists, but also people that liked and commented and shared and stuff like that. And you had it limited per day, so you wouldn't spam. Um, so every like and comment and share was precious, and so you would favor people that you got along with. And it really fostered relationships that way. You kind of met new people, and you liked their stuff, they liked yours, and the relationships grew from there. And it was really nice. I really loved that platform. I would not recommend Instagram. I think Instagram is very toxic, very one-sided. It's hard to communicate, to form relationships. Even Facebook does relationships better than Instagram. So that's my view on it. I wouldn't put your whole self-worth based on Instagram. I would just say look for other platforms that suit your personality better. Let's see here. So, oh, this meme, I love this one. When you've been doubting yourself the whole drawing, but then you add the highlights and it's like, oh yeah, it's all coming together. For me, this point of doubt passes after I finish the line art. The line art is the hardest part for me because I think that's the backbone. I think line art is more important than color, but color is way more eye-catching. And so I'm kind of more on the successful end of illustration because I'm a more color oriented artist, so I excel in doing the coloring more than the line art. I struggle with making the fingers on and the hands well and making the characters very expressive, so I much rather pair myself with a illustrator that is very good at doing the line art but sucks at coloring, because then we would have like the best of both of us. I'm gonna be better than that person at coloring, and so whatever colors I put on their line art is gonna be more appealing, commercially viable than what they do by themselves. So this is kind of playing on each other's strengths and getting a better product together through cooperation. And So I can definitely see people having this issue with the highlights. When I do more painted style illustration, not flat shaded, I can be more in that mindset because the line art and coloring processes are simultaneous. There's no longer a separation. When you're doing flat shaded comic art, you're doing the line art first and then you're adding the um, illustrate the colors, so it's clearly delineated, separated. But when you're doing kind of more of a painted style, you're like putting the flat colors, the base directly in. You're not using a line art. Maybe you sketched something before, but sketches is not line art. And then you work it in, and through that process you get to the finished product. And then yeah, once you had the highlights, then you can be like, oh yeah, it's all coming together. So there are many workflows to doing art. It just depends what you're making. Like, are you doing a portrait of someone to put on a wall? Are you making comic books? Are you making animation? um, are you doing caricatures? Whatever it is, you're gonna have a different workflow, and it takes years to get it down right. Yeah. My followers, when I post, I spend 5 hours on an illustration and they like don't like it. And I do a 10-minute doodle and in the dark at 3 a.m. and they love it. Um, yeah, it happens. It usually doesn't happen for me. I don't post my doodles. I usually only post like fancy, complicated paintings, and I post the process of it. So, I mean, people do like complex, big, intricate illustrations. They still do like my flower, cherry trees, with the birds and things like that. Those are illustrations that people liked a lot, and you just sit and watch the details and but I can definitely see how this could happen for other artists. The thing I think is going on is the 10-minute doodle is something spontaneous, creative. It might be politically or psychologically fueled. Memes definitely are. I've discussed in previous videos how memes are art, in my opinion. And so if you do, like I said, that 10-minute doodle in the dark, it might be a contemporary comment on your emotional, physical, psychological state. So people find that more relatable, maybe, or insightful than, a painting of a tree at dusk with something, I don't know, a pretty girl with flowing hair and petals all around and something like that. That might be something that people don't necessarily find relatable. They'll find it beautiful. They won't afford it. They're never gonna have it. So they pass. While the doodle is something that they feel a strong emotional connection with, and so they're gonna interact with that a lot more. They're gonna retweet it and things like that. So that's where I think this situation is coming from. Just so you know, you can do these 10-minute duels in the dark at 3 a.m. to get more engagement, to get more followers, and then you want to sell the beautiful cherry tree painting, let's say, and get money from that because people are not going to pay you for your quippy memes at 3 a.m. Most platforms do not pay you like that for whatever content you do. YouTube does, so this is one of the reasons I do these kind of talky memes, review videos with you. I get a lot of engagement, but also I like having these conversations with you. There are conversation starters. Like, I'm sharing with you something, I'm maybe even teaching you something. You're sharing your life experience with me. I'm learning something from you. It's a very enjoyable video for me to make. And yeah, so That is what I would recommend. Try and do both. um, if you can't, or if you have like extreme political views, maybe don't do those. From what I've seen on the internet, if you're on the right, on the left, or on the left, the other side is gonna attack you. And if you're in the middle, is like the worst place to be because like nobody likes you. Both extremes hate you. So generally, it's like good to not express your ideas too much on the internet. But yeah, good luck with being on the internet. So yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed it. Let me know what I should do next. What do you want to find out about the art world? I make these videos based on your request. I'm always happy to get memes from you and your recommendations and hear from you guys. So yeah. You can find me on Twitter, on Discord. You can send me the memes there. If you want to buy my merchandise, you can on Lulu or Society 6. If you like my art and want to commission me, you can find me on Fiverr. And if you just want to support, I am on Coffee. So, take care, everyone. Hope you're having a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.